Hello and welcome to this weather update. Well, today was a kind of a humid day, and for the most part we didn't see the sun, except around the really late afternoon, early evening hours. We got a little bit of sunshine and a little bit of blue sky. Unfortunately, it was humid, and I saw some more of the problems hanging around again. The humidity brings them out, folks. What can I tell you? But the good news is, after today, we shouldn't see the humidity for a while. So let's get started with this weather update. Hello and welcome to the weather update. It is September 26th, around 9:30, and we are looking at the radar right now. We're going to start off with that. We had a pretty strong line of thunderstorms. It's starting to weaken now, so I'm just loading the radar now. But it is starting to weaken a little bit. It probably will weaken by the time it gets here, but it still looks like there's some pretty heavy thunderstorms in northern New Jersey. But you can see it's starting to. So there was a line right here, but it's starting to fizzle out, and the reason why is because the front's moving through later in the evening. The heating of the day has died down, and it's also going to run into this cooler marine air that is over our area. So I think that we won't be seeing too much of severe weather in our area, but this still could be a heavy thunderstorm or two, probably between 10 and midnight, probably more like 10 o'clock New York City. And over the East End more like midnight. Alright, so let's take a look at the current conditions outside right now. Actually, before I get to that, let's talk about some of the flash flooding that happened. I'm just going to briefly go over. There was a lot of flash flooding yesterday. Got a little taste, a tiny taste of what they've been going through in the Carolinas, just a tiny taste of it, but I'll read some of these to you. In Newark, there was a flash flood on 1 and 9. It closed the Pulaski Skyway. 1 and 9 approaching Pulaski Skyway. Flash floods in Secaucus. Flooding on New Jersey 3. Westbound spur. In Bayonne, there was a car stuck in a flooded roadway at Route 440 near Port Jersey Boulevard. Flash flood in Hudson County on 1 and 9. So a lot of flash floods. Kearney, Bayonne, roads closed due to flash flooding. Flash flooding in Jersey City. All lanes closed due to flooding on US 1 and 9 truck route in both directions to Charlotte Circle. So it's a major road, so obviously this caused a lot of traffic headaches in New Jersey. Flash flooded Englewood Cliffs and North Hackensack. Flooding there, vehicles stuck and flooded. In the Bronx, there was a flash flood at Mosholu Parkway at I-87. There was flooding on Pulaski Skyway northbound at 109 in Kearney. And in Westchester, White Plains, Bronx River Parkway closed due to flooding. And there was flooding in Old Greenwich and Fairfield County. Several streets flooded in town, including Lockwood Avenue and Sound Beach Avenue and Benjamin Street, with at least 2 feet of standing water and impassable roads. Flash flooding in Bergen County, that's Ridgefield Park, US 46 eastbound. Flash flooding in Fairfield County in Greenwich. Running mud and water over halfway up tires at Davis Avenue and Bruce Park Drive. Flash flooded Old Greenwich in another flash flood there, flooding at Westcombe Road and Sound Beach Avenue. Flooding, so Old Greenwich got hit pretty hard with flooding. Connecticut really did get hit very hard with that. They were hit the hardest. When we look again at the rainfall totals, I'm going to show you the updated rainfall totals. And there was flooding in Bayside, too, in Queens, on Bell Boulevard. All southbound lanes closed at 208th Place with 2 feet of standing water with police on scene. Flash flood in East Norwalk. Flash flood in South Norwalk. Severe street flooding reported. So a lot of flash flooding from these rains. Fairfield, the Horsehaven Brook is over its banks, flooding the area of Park Avenue and Breon Drive. Multiple cars are submerged in several feet of flowing floodwaters. Hackensack, Bergen County, Essex, and State Streets remain closed with boats deployed for possible rescues. So there were people trapped and had to be rescued in Hackensack, Fairfield County, Hackensack. In Fairfield, Connecticut, 50 water rescues. In Easton, 50 water rescues. So a lot of people here. Hackensack, 18 people from stranded cars in floodwaters. So this is unusual again to see, and this is because we had a little tropical moisture involved. It was almost like a tropical storm yesterday. We got just a tiny taste of what the folks in the Carolinas are still dealing with, because the waters are still rising in some areas there, because there's a delayed reaction from all the water coming down, from inland to the coast and southward. It takes a long time. And we're going to be seeing high water, too, in a lot of our rivers where there's heavy rainfall. So getting back to our area, flooding in New Haven, road closures reported, 15 water rescues in Bridgeport. I know one of our viewers, I forgot her name, I'm sorry, lives in Bridgeport. Hopefully her area was okay. Ansonia, New Haven, road caved in on Crescent Street due to flood waters. So terrible damage from the flood. And Long Island was not immune either. We had a flash flood, a very bad flash flood in Port Jefferson in the Village, and resulted in Route 112 near Maple Avenue being actually this is northeast of Port Jefferson Station. So that area got pounded too. So Connecticut State Police reporting all southbound lanes on Route 9 from Middletown Lights to exit 11 are closed due to flooding. Stony Brook, flash flood there in Stony Brook. South entrance to the Stony Brook Hospital was flooded and impassable. And in Port Jefferson, this is the Village. This is widespread flash flooding across the Village of Port Jefferson, with some of the most significant flooding on Main Street, so right in the middle of the Village, near Maple Place. Water is 3 to 4 feet high in several locations, with multiple cars stuck in floodwaters. Flash flood in Lebanon, New London, Connecticut. Several roads impassable, closed due to flooding. Boy, we have a lot to a lot of these to go over. All right, let's see. I lost my place here. I have to apologize. Flash flood Route 16. So another one in Port Jefferson, Route 25A closed between Sheep Pasture Road and Route 112 due to flooding. More reports from Connecticut. I can't read all these, but you can look at them yourself on the screen here. It's really terrible. It really is. Really a disaster for the area, and just a little taste of what the Carolinas have been going through. And this is all due to all this tropical moisture that shouldn't be here. And that's all due to the weather patterns not being normal, and they haven't been for a while. So now let's look at the rainfall totals. This is the latest rainfall totals. Actually, let me make this larger again. Yeah, that's good enough. We've seen a lot of these already. I'm not going to go over them completely. You can see Connecticut, Trumbull, Fairfield County, 7.3. So Fairfield County in Connecticut, New Haven County, and Connecticut just got pounded. Middlesex County, Durham, 7. These are really high rainfall amounts, and this is rain that fell in a short amount of time, like in a matter of an hour or two in some cases. Look at New Haven County, 2 miles west of Hamden, 8.59 inches of rain. That's insane. Some of these are probably going to break records. New London County, Lebanon, 6.79. We go into New Jersey here, and there are areas in Bergen County that got over 5 inches of rain. Essex County, over 3 inches of rain. Hudson County, Bayonne, 4.77 inches of rain. Passaic County, 3.14 inches in Little Falls. Union County, 2.36, and then we go into New York. And we have a lot more numbers from Nassau County, so actually I do want to make this a little larger here so you can see them all. If you can't see them, but I'll give you the links in the description below if you can't see what's on the screen, so you can look at it yourself, because this is on a very unusual event. So in New York City, numbers aren't too bad. In Nassau County, some of the areas on the South Shore, eastern Nassau County, Seaford got 2.07 inches, Plainview got 1.95 inches, North Wantaw got 1.92 inches. So a lot of rain, and the city, actually Manhattan, some parts of the city got a lot of rain, 2.68, 2.08, and I know there was reports of that it was raining in the subways. When it rains like that, the water just comes through the grates and floods through the ceilings of the subways, which is terrible. Something needs to be done about that, because this is going to be the new normal as we deal with climate change. Monroe, 2.33 in Orange County. Putnam County, those areas didn't get hit quite as hard. Queens, Whitestone got 2.5 inches. So that's quite a bit of rain. Not like the folks in Connecticut, though. Rockland got hit hard, though. Rockland, some areas in Rockland got over 3 inches of rain. And then Suffolk County, some of these numbers are pretty high, too. Setauket, 4.53 inches. Port Jefferson Station, 4.27 inches. Hauppauge, 4 inches. Comac, 3.53 inches. These are very high rainfall amounts. I'm not going to read all of them to you, but these are very high rainfall amounts for one day. It looks like it gets less as you head to the south and east part of Suffolk County. And then, of course, Westchester, White Plains Airport, 4.43, and 1 mile northeast of Irvington, 4.58 inches. So, wow, that's a lot of rain. Very unusual, but that's what happens when you have this kind of tropical moisture in the area. I want to actually go and I want to look at, well, we're talking about the flooding here. Let's see if the Weather Service has any pictures on their Twitter feed about this. So let's see if they do. If they do, I don't know if they're going to have any pictures of the flooding, but there was some pretty bad flooding. I want to show you. So these are the flash flood warnings from yesterday, but it does not look like they have any pictures of the flash flooding. So we'll have to actually do this. Let's see, flooding, Port Jefferson. Let's see. I just want to show you what it was like in Port Jefferson. Just let me do this for a minute, and hopefully we can find something. I just want to show you. So this is there's a lot of damage in Port Jefferson right now. This is what some of the businesses had to go through. I'll make this larger again. This is what some of the businesses had to go through here in Port Jefferson. So a lot of flooding here, major flooding in Port Jefferson. $500,000 of flooding damage at least. There was a lot of damage in Port Jefferson. See, look at what these restaurants had to deal with. Look at all that water in there. This is terrible. Port Jefferson is a flood-prone area because it's low-lying. And, yeah, poor Suffolk County Transit posted something about this here. A lot of people's cars got flooded due to this. So the unbelievable images of flooding here going on. Here's a link from it's probably a news. That's probably going to lead to News 12. I'm just looking at the Twitter right now. So this is what's going on. So this is really bad. Look at, yeah, there's a good picture of it. There you go. So Port Jefferson underwater pretty much last night. And they said it's the worst flood. Even the fire department got flooded. Yeah, here you go. This is what I wanted to show you. Even the fire department got flooded. Look at that. So and it's just what happened across all, other parts of the area dealt with flooding too. It's crazy. This is all something that we don't normally see here so often, but because of climate change, this is what we're dealing with. All right, so I'm going to go back to the Weather Service page, and we're going to go back and look at some of the observations today next. All right, so let's go and look at the current conditions right now in our area. 73 degrees at Farmingdale. The dew point is 71, so it's been humid today. Not as humid as I feared. Some of the models were indicating the humidity was going to be worse as far as the dew points getting into the mid-70s, but they stayed in the low 70s more or less. But it was still pretty humid. But temperatures were mainly in the 70s today. It did just briefly touch 80 at Farmingdale, but it was mainly in the 70s. Plenty of clouds around. It really wasn't that uncomfortable, especially with that strong breeze from the south. It kept things bearable, even though it was humid out. We can take a look at the conditions further east. 72 at Dubreski Airport, dew point 70 there, and there was only in the mid 70s as far as the temperature goes. And look at another station here, Shirley, because they have a tendency to read higher dew points sometimes. No, more or less dew points in the low 70s, and they only hit 75 there. Clouds, fog, not a nice day, but definitely not as bad as it could have been had the sun come out. Luckily, it didn't really come out that much. So the city obviously is warmer, 76, dew point 73. Let's see what it hit there today. So it hit 82 there, and they did have some more sunshine there, and that's probably why it got to the low 80s there. But dew points definitely were up there, but not, I mean, it is very uncomfortable, but it used to be dew points in the low 70s was something that was really extreme, and now it's right, dew points in the upper 70s is extreme, and that's what I was worried about. That didn't happen, luckily. So let's take a look and see what Miller Air Park has 75 degrees, of course, in Toms River. 73 was I'm sure it was going to be very hot. Oh, 86 degrees. It's good, almost a good 10 degrees hotter in Toms River. And note, the dew point also being higher along with that, 76. So not only was Toms River hotter, it was also more humid as well. So that's what I mean. It's just there's a big difference once you start heading in that direction with the temperature and the humidity. It's like almost like a mid-Atlantic climate versus a more of a northeast climate. It's almost like the mid-Atlantic over there, not so much the northeast. So I'll look at one more look at the radar here to show you the thunderstorms. You can see they're kind of dissipating a little bit, but this strong cell that's moving through Westchester right now. So, but for the most part, this line is kind of falling apart. That's for sure. I don't, I want to see. There's a rivers and lakes. I want to see if we can get not so much this one, but the rivers and lakes in Connecticut. I'm sure they were up there quite a bit, so we're looking for that. I'm looking for that right here. Here it is. Let's see if we can find some observations from the rivers, if we can. That's, of course, if it'll load. I'm going to count to 10. If it doesn't load, we're going to forget about it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, there we go. All right. So here we go. So we're going to just get some river observations here and take a look at some of the rivers and see if we can get some information here on their flooding, if there's any flood category not defined. I don't see any of these rivers being that high yet. All right, wait, there are a couple here. So if you look at the yellow, yellow means near flood stage. So some of these are near floods. The Housatonic, for instance. So let me move this over. As you can see, the Housatonic River there. That's one of the major rivers in Connecticut. You can see it came up quite a bit. So it looks like it's in a minor flood stage or getting close to a flood stage, but not a record, fortunately. It doesn't look like there are any records. Well, that one is. The Yantic River is up there. But other than that, it doesn't look too bad. All right, let's look at Ventus Sky and see what's going on. We'll have a graphic look as to... You can clearly see the front. Here it is, right here. Behind it, it's going to be cooler. I want to show you the dew points, too. We'll look at the dew points as well. So you could clearly see the difference in the dew points. See all the humidity here, and here's the dry air coming in. You can see all the humidity coming up here. And I just want to take this back just a little bit till around 3 o'clock this afternoon to show you the temperatures again. And then we'll go look at the models. Yeah, you can see that it was much hotter. I just want to point that out to you. That it was much hotter over Jersey in this area versus Long Island, which was basically in the 70s. So almost a 10-degree difference between Long Island and this part of New Jersey, which seems to be, this seems to be what happens when you have this kind of air mass. Just again, this is like the heat bowl over here. Unless you look, it's just New Jersey. This whole area is more of a mid-Atlantic climate. All right, and that's that's what I mean. Anyway, let's get to the models. Let's talk about what improvements we have coming to the weather, because we do have improvements coming. All right, so you can see there's this front that's going to be coming through, and unfortunately it's going to stall to our south tomorrow. So no, it's not going to clear out, but we will get rid of the humidity, and that front is going to kind of get a little hung up. We might see a little rain on Friday from it, Friday morning, the first part of Friday, and then it clears out, and then we have this big high-pressure system that builds in, gives us a beautiful weekend at last, and then that moves aside, and then as we get into next week, it looks like we have a change in the pattern where drier air seems to be building down more, and we got to watch out for that. This is the super duper long range here. Oh, by the way, this is the 18Z GFS. So let's get a little closer. Let's look at our area. Let's look at the dew points. The dew point forecast and see. So you'll see the humidity go away. So as we come into tomorrow, see there it goes away. Drier air moves in, dew points go down to the 40s. They come up a little bit on Friday, maybe into the low 60s. Looks like there's a lot more humidity over Jersey versus here. Again, that's why you don't want to be down there. But for Saturday, dry air, dew points in the low 50s, and the same for Sunday. And then we start to see the humidity come back up a little bit next week, but it shouldn't be. It doesn't look like it'll be as bad. No, it won't be as bad as this week, though. Oh, well, the long range has the humidity coming back a little bit, but still not as much as the dew points would probably be in the 60s, according to that. But that's again the super duper long range, which is not something I really want to spend too much time in because we do have a lot of changes going on in the next 3 or 4 days that I want to talk about. So let's look at the clouds. So Thursday, you could see we're going to be stuck in the clouds. Because that front is stalled. Same thing for Friday. Now Saturday we clear out finally. So Saturday is the first day I can get to the Pine Barrens, and I have to go. So that's the main thing. Because clear days are rare, and you have to take advantage of them. So Saturday is good, and I think Sunday might be good as well. Before it starts clouding up a little more on Monday. But it still won't be overcast on Monday. There'll be a few clouds around. And then once that's done, look at that. We're stuck in the clouds again for a little while. So that's why you got to take advantage of every nice day. Maybe some people don't understand that. But when we've had this, what I'm going to call sun drought, it's very important that you do that, especially for me. All right. So let's take a look at the temperatures. See what the temperatures are going to be here. Oh, all right, so here we go, the temperatures. And you see tomorrow, it'll be cool. It'll be in the 70s for the most part. Same thing for Friday, only around 70. Friday's going to be very cool. On the weekend, mostly mid-70s. All right, and then Sunday, mid-70s. And yeah, it'll be cool enough for me to go to Jersey. That's the thing. That's where I need to go. And then Monday, it starts warming up again. We get that return flow. And then temperatures start getting a little warmer, but no real major heat and humidity. I think we're done with that. I think we're finally done with it, which is fine by me. I have no problem with that. Let's look at the other model here. I want to look at the NAM model. Let's go to the NAM. Let's see what the NAM has as far as the precipitation, because that's the one I really like to use. However, with the last precipitation event we had yesterday, the HDRPS actually nailed that pretty good. We're actually going to go and look back at that HDRPS run, actually. So let's take a look tomorrow. Well, look at that front, just falls apart pretty much. That's what I'm expecting it to do. So I don't really expect Long Island to get any severe weather. Thursday should stay dry, but increasing clouds in the afternoon especially. Here comes a little batch of rain that might move through because we have a stall front, a little wave forming along it. It will roll through Friday morning, and could be some heavy rain again with that. Could be some heavy rain with that. And then that moves out, and then we're done with that. So I'm curious to see how much rain that is going to give us. So let's take a look and see if we can total accumulated precip. All right, so yeah, it shouldn't be a flash flooding type of rain, but it will be. Could get up to an inch of rain, maybe closer to 2 inches in spots. But it's not too much. But anyway, let's go and look at the HDRPS because I want to actually go back and look at that model because we're going to actually go back in the run and look at that. We're going to actually, I think I'm going to pick an older run. Let's pick the run from when he did the weather update. I think it was 0Z Tuesday. Let's back that up to this. All right, so I don't know if it was that run or it might have been the 18Z run that. Can we get that 18Z Tuesday? It was 18Z Monday. Yes, this is the one that was pretty close. It had the HDRPS had been suggesting a lot of heavy rain over Connecticut, and that model was pretty much on point. We're gonna actually go to the 18Z Tuesday. Well, we got to go to we can go to the 0Z Tuesday run. All right, and you could see it had the heavy rain over Connecticut, so it was kind of had the right idea of when and where the heavy rain was going to occur, and that to me made it very interesting. So that it actually did a pretty good job with that. So I just wanted to point that out. Well, anyway, we're going to look at the latest HDRPS run just to see how it handles the precipitation for the next event. So let's see how it handles this front that's moving through. So yeah, see that's model. You see, it had that cell holding together over Westchester and Connecticut, but it had the rest of the line kind of breaking up. Yeah, just to the north, and then Suffolk County barely gets anything. And let's see how it handles the next event that's coming. So yeah, it has some heavy rain, but it has the worst of it staying over eastern Suffolk. So interesting that this model was right. It's not usually one of the major models, but I think it actually did a good job saying that the heavy rain was going to fall over Connecticut and Westchester, because this area right here was the area that got nailed. So now let's take a look and see what's going on in the tropics. We have, it looks like that extratropical area has just broken up now. It's just a disturbance. And we have Kirk. And Tropical Storm Kirk is now beginning to strengthen. So let's take a look at this. Hurricane Center has it staying a tropical storm. Doesn't have it going up to a hurricane. But it could affect these islands over here in the eastern Leeward Islands. I'm not sure what you call these. And so they have a tropical storm warning in effect. And then it could, after across that, it could weaken. So they didn't really have this thing getting very strong. But I still think we need to take a look at it. So let's take a look at it on satellite. Let's see. We wait for this to load, and we'll look at Kirk on satellite. So you can see some convection going. It's kind of disorganized. I think it's going to be more of a heavy rainmaker, but it's still something that needs to be watched. And right now it has a maximum sustained wind of 60 miles an hour. It's moving as west-northwest at 18 miles an hour. So it's still a tropical storm. It's still something that's could cause some damage and flooding, and needs to be watched. But it does not look like it's going to affect the United States. That's the good news. All right, let's go to the satellite and just show you briefly what's going on. So here is Kirk again. Kind of a small storm, very compact, and it is moving toward the Leeward Islands. So and then we have another hurricane over here. I think this is Hurricane Rosa. Over here, this is where the action's been for the most part, is in this area of the Pacific. Just keeps popping one storm after another after another. But see this beautiful clear weather that is going to be heading our way for the weekend. But first we got to get this front through, so it's going to take a little bit of time to do, but it's going to make it through this time, which is good, because the weather has been absolutely awful, and it's about to come to an end once and for all when this front finally moves offshore. So it looks like great weather is finally going to arrive to get back to the Pine Barrens, and it has been a long time. Actually, it is since August 18th, I believe, was the last day I got to the Pine Barrens. That's over a month ago. And August 18th, that was the only nice day in the entire month of August. So it has been way too long, way too overdue. And this is why you got to take advantage every day. So if you can, get to the Pine Barrens if you're into being outside and you want to, enjoy some nature. But that's what I need. I am looking forward to it. And this will be, there won't be any more weather updates for a little while, because I just want to relax. There's been way too much drama going on between the Long Island Railroad, between what's going on in my town and in my own life, that I don't want to really talk about. But I need to get away from it, and it's going to be great to finally get into the Pines, where I belong, and enjoy this beautiful weekend we are about to have. So take care, and thank you for watching. And the next video you'll probably see on this channel will be in the Pine Barrens. So that's it. Take care, and remember what it's all about. As I usually like to say, it's all about those great shapes.